Please welcome Professor Deborah Harkness.
Oh, thank you. You just stay right up here with me for just a second. Well, what a weekend we are having, right? I want to take a moment to thank the many, many people who have made this weekend possible for y'all. And usually I have two people in my grip at this point because Laura and Karen are a team with this, and sadly Karen could not be with us this weekend. So Laura and Karen just put together the most amazing program and also the most amazing team of people who have worked on this. And so what I want to also say is a special thanks to Jen, who has really stepped up to help Laura. I want to thank Lynn and Wendy and Karis and Florence and Renee for all also. So if you guys are in the room, all of you guys stay up. And I want to give a special shout out to the woman who has kept this whole thing going, and that is Adri. Where is she gone? What you don't know is the many fires she has put out, the crises she has extinguished, the fact that I was going to walk onto the stage with bits of Kleenex stuck to my head because I was mopping myself, and all of these wonderful things have been done by our spectacular stage manager. So, Adri, thank you so much. I also want to thank the moderators of the All Souls discussion group, all the podcasters, the demons, everybody, the witchy women, Chamomile and Clove, all of the people who have been with us this weekend. And I also want to say, a lot of you ask me, how do I manage to do what I do? Well, I do what I do because I have the best team of support working with me. And that includes Jill and Kat and Siobhan and the ladies of the discussion group, the moderators. So I just want to say again, there's so many people who made this event really possible. And I just want us to all give them all a huge round of applause. Next time, we're going to be better. All right, so what we're going to do is, I'm going to talk, I talk a lot about Mount Holyoke in my undergraduate years, but I wanted to start us off and warm us up today by taking you back to my graduate education a little bit. So I studied with a woman named Betty Jo Teeter Dobbs. She was the daughter of a Methodist minister. She went to school on horseback in her early days. And she had a family and children and went back to graduate school in her 40s after studying science to study history. She had children in tow. She took them to class with her, and she parked them in various and sundry places when she was doing research. And in the 1970s, she took on the world, really, with the heretical argument that Isaac Newton was an alchemist. Now it's like, Isaac Newton was an alchemist, and there are shows on it, and, it's all very, but it started with a very brave mother who went back to school later in life and who decided that maybe people had got Isaac Newton wrong, that he was not just a great man of science, but he was also, as she liked to say it, the last of the medieval magicians. And one of the ways she got there was because she realized that Isaac Newton had been born to his mother at a time when his own father was dead. He was a posthumous birth, is what we call those, right? So the mother's pregnant, dad dies, and he was actually raised by his grandmother, who was born during Elizabeth's reign and remembered Queen Elizabeth. So that essentially Isaac Newton was an Elizabethan. So that's a long way of telling you about my advisor, who was a woman who took up a lot of space. She smoked cigarettes when she wasn't supposed to in her office. And I used to go in every week and I'd sit across the desk from Professor Dobbs, and she would light a cigarette, open the window so her neighbors didn't complain, put her feet up on the desk, and she'd say, "So, what did you learn this week?" Every meeting I had started that way, at which point my entire brain shut down. Everything I had read completely left my mind, and I was left a blithering idiot. And she would smoke and listen to me ramble. And then at some point she would go, "Oh, that's a good idea." And I'd think, what did I say? What did I say? I had no way to reconstruct it. So we've got some people in the audience who are going to run around with mics, because what I just want to start with is I just want to ask you what you've learned this weekend. So this is your aha moment, your "oh, I didn't know that," your "I had no ideas." So does anybody have any kind of aha moments? And I'm not going to smoke a cigarette, but I've got a pretty good waiting ability, so. Just put up your hand. Oh, there's someone over here who's got something to say. Just put up your hand if you've got something you want to offer, and either Jen or Laura will come.
I would say enjoy the journey. That's something that I always try to remember, because it can get so busy, so frustrated sometimes. Yeah. I come from New York, and, it was a long journey.
Yeah.
But so I'm still trying to adjust to the time and everything. But after yesterday and now today seeing you, I'm just trying to enjoy being here.
Perfect.
And be present. Mm-hmm.
God, what a better world we would be in if we could all just be present and enjoy the journey. Yes. Great aha moment. Anybody else?
Be in the right place at the right time, because then amazing things can happen, like accidentally meeting and chatting with the cast or handing over a gift that you've made to people.
Yeah, excellent insight. Yes. Think about Isaac Newton and that mythical tale of the apple, right? If he hadn't been paying attention, we might not have gravity. Well, we would have gravity. We wouldn't have a theory.
Hi. I learned that I got it very wrong. I thought the All Souls world was in the books, but this is actually the All Souls world.
What a great aha moment. Fantastic. Yes, we are all souls. I often put that as a hashtag on my social feeds, and that I really do believe that. Anybody? Yes.
I came with my daughter. Kai just watched the TV series and got so excited over that. I know, I'm sorry, I'm mightily embarrassed.
I know, it's such a daughter shame moment.
It is,
Her mother is speaking in public. We're just going to avert our eyes here for just a moment.
She's like, oh God, what's she going to say? So my daughter has read the books. I haven't, but I've just blocked out a week in my diary to go home and read all 3, because I'm just so excited to get cracking on the book side of the journey now. So thank you. And thank you, everybody.
We got a few more aha. Who's got the mic? Wave it out. Okay, yes. Hello.
Hi. As a resident of Cardiff, I just wanted to say welcome, everyone. But my aha moment is life is full of moments, and you just got to put your hands out and grab them, because that's really taught me a lot today. And over the weekends, I've met so many wonderful people. And you've just got to grab those moments when you can, because you don't get many.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yes.
Every day has its moment, even the ones that are going awfully, terribly bad. Including the ones with the flight.
Yeah, lots of, how to plan, I believe that somebody told everybody that we were coming, and so that's why Milan football team is here, and Manchester United, the Homeless World Cup, an airport strike threatening. This is all for us. That's all I can say.
Hi.
Okay, wait. Hello. Okay. Yeah.
I wanted to say that I have learned that I'm stronger than I thought I was, and I'm braver than I thought I was. I have never believed that I would hop in a plane and come to England all by myself and meet so many people. And I wanted to thank everyone because you've all been so kind and loving, and we're like a family now.
We are family. Okay, just before the next person goes, how many people came here alone? How many people are leaving alone? Right? So, but even if you've made friends now, right? You might have come by yourself, but when you leave, you're leaving with new friends and new experiences. Okay, who's?
Well, that kind of busted mine
Oh
because
God, so sorry.
because I was going to say that my aha moment is that anybody can be your family. You know, I mean, we've met some amazing women here, and we're all like moving on to Oxford from here and planning things together.
The party is
So
not
yeah,
over.
it's not over. But and you've become an honorary Baird sister, so
I know. I love it. I don't have any biological sisters. I'll
you've got us.
take all of you.
Can I be cheeky and steal the microphone? Well, I did, so I am
Oh,
going to
okay.
be cheeky and steal the microphone. I just wanted to say that, like, I've met some amazing people, and if women ran the world,
Yeah.
just
Right.
sorry, but if women ran the world,
Yeah.
what a better place I think it would be.
Right up here.
If I started to list my aha moments this weekend, I'd be here forever because I learnt something new from every workshop I've been to, every panel I've been to. But my head teacher used to say, I'm a teacher, so not my head teacher when I was a child. She used to say, it's not how clever are you, it's how are you clever. And the one thing that I've learned, I always thought there might be a novel lurking around inside of me. I think I pretty much dispelled that thought because because the one thing that I have learned is how incredibly clever you are, because how everything is interwoven, the science, the history, and how expertise can be pulled together to make such incredible things that can affect so many lives. I can't begin to tell you how grateful I am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I learned I should dare because at first I thought it was a mad idea to come here alone, being French, not talking fluently English. So now I know I want French people to know that France is the Clermont land, and I want for them to know
French
that.
are welcome
Yes.
in Alto's family.
And
Come
they
on.
should. They should come. So I'll do my best.
Good. Where is it? Yes.
So this is kind of an aha moment that I had last night.
Yeah.
My dad introduced me to the books, and when I was growing up, we didn't really have a good relationship, and it's something that we've bonded over, and we've kind of gotten closer. And I realized that now when I sent him a picture last night, and he was just so excited that I met you. He was also very jealous, but it was just something that it just hit me kind of last night, knowing that that's something that brought us closer, and it's very much improved like our relationship. And I don't know, it was just cool to like make that realization.
Yeah, that you just never know. Again, sort of go back to what Jean was saying, that you just sort of never know when that moment, what that little thing is going to be. Like when you look back historically, who you would never think, oh, we shared the love of a book.
Yeah.
Right,
I mean,
and that's what made it possible for us to heal something,
Exactly,
right? And
yeah.
so to just be really alert to that kind of stuff, because
Yeah.
there's so much always coming at us from every direction that's, you know, it's really special to have a two days like this when you
Yeah.
you get to have all these feelings in such a supportive group and to process and to connect is just really miraculous. So
This is wonderful.
thank you
So
for
thank you.
sharing. Yes, who's got the mic?
Up here.
Oh, in the darkness.
Yeah,
Okay,
sorry.
get past the lights. Okay, hi.
Hi, you already know part of the story, but we came through Oxford on the way here and stayed at Keble College, and
My college.
yes, which I didn't know, which we didn't know, and we were lucky enough to take the 90-minute bod tour, and we were going from Radcliffe Camera through the underground tunnel back to the library, and there's a section with all these lovely metal movable stacks on wheels, and a sitting area. And the guide had stopped us, and he was talking, and something made me take a step back and look at the bookcase, and it was this volume set of the history of magic, and which I snapped a photo of. I was not supposed to.
She has proof this really happened.
Yeah, this really happened. But everywhere along the trip, I've seen feathers, more and more feathers, which is a sign to me that it's like a high five from spirit. And I was sitting 2 rows down. That was my assigned seat. And I was talking to this lovely woman here, and I looked at her name tag. And I had been wanting to find her since I saw her name on the internet. And I think she's my cousin through my grandmother's side. So yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, magic is real.
Magic, listen, look at that. Wow, okay, where am I going to next? Where's the next? There you are, okay.
For me, it started out like 2 years ago. I'm one of the few fans from Germany that are here. I think the others are like over there. I think we're like 3 or 4 people from Germany. And for me, it started like 2 years ago. I was starting an Saturnalia card event for the moderation team. Yeah. And I was like, got helpless, and I was seeking out for help. That's when I met Catherine Stockwell and Ivona Walters over there. Yeah. And I made such a lot of friends by now, and we're just a big family. And whenever I have problems, I can go to them, talk to them, call them, write them. And yeah, they will always be there for me. They knew more about me, about my inner demons, that any friend in Germany would ever know, because they're my soulmates. I love you guys.
Well, and we know how very bad for Matthew it can be if you try to battle all your inner demons by yourself, and how isolating it can be. So I'm so glad that you found your soft place to land with these other members of the All Souls family. I think we've got another one. Yeah, we've got time for a few more. Maybe 2 more after this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone. As an artist, I often question myself a lot.
Is this Karen who's
Yes.
speaking? This is Karen who made your lovely badges. So beautiful. I'm sorry, continue.
So I tend to question myself a lot, my work and the choices that I've made. But coming here and even the past few months, meeting online so many supportive people, you and the demons and Laura and Karen and everyone, it just made me realize that, and I've never realized that before until now, that the choices that I've made that led me here were the right choices. Yeah. And I'm so glad for this. I'm so happy, and I couldn't have asked for anything better. And I wanted to thank everyone here for being so kind and supportive, and just for being who you are. You're so nice, and thank you.
I have a little card that says, she created a life she loved. And that's what it sounds like your journey has been. And you had your aha moment that there you are. You've created the life that you love. All right, we've got time for 2 more aha moments. I know there's probably more, but let's do that for now.
Hi, Deb. It's Candida.
Hi, hello.
I'm one of the lucky people here who's been able to attend all these wonderful conferences. My aha moment actually goes back to the very first conference when we were in Los Angeles and we were set up in a very different informal manner with the tables, and it was a small, intimate group, and it was great. And I came walking into the room. I had gone out to get some water, and you were standing by a pillar, and I had stopped beside you, and I didn't even realize it was you. I had never actually formally met you, and we just kind of chatted for just a very short time, and it was this, for me, it was, of course, exciting. To you, it was, you were talking to just another
I was just having a lovely moment with a lovely
just,
woman.
we were just talking, and my aha moment was just how real you were, how down to earth you were, and how you have not changed. You talk to everybody, you hug everybody, you always put yourself out there, but that moment for me was, oh my gosh, she's so down to earth and so kind and so nice. And
just got to put yourself out there, ladies. You just don't know what's going to happen.
It was just a nice little, oh my gosh, there she is.
So kind. Thank you for sharing that. All right, we've got one more.
So I was just going to say there's been some beautiful and deep aha moments, but my aha moment of the weekend has been finding out who Kit Marlowe was.
I know. I thought y'all were going to be talking about like how silk felt and the costumes, and I learned that they ran out of money and had to like CGI something in. Instead, I've got these other wonderful, yes, that was a great aha moment, huh? That we got, huh? Pardon? And Kristen has tattoos, who knew? I did not. I'm happy to report I had not seen enough of Mr. Gravel to actually know that, but to know that. I do now. Okay, so what an amazing set of aha moments. And it's interesting, when I was thinking about what I was going to talk about, so many of you have already hit upon some of the things that I wanted to say. But here's the root of it all. It's just about the 10th anniversary of when I sold A Discovery of Witches to the publishers. That happened in September 2009. So you heard from Claire. So you know, in just I think late September, early October, Claire Baldwin, who you listened to yesterday, heard of Deborah Harkness for the first time, right? And A Discovery of Witches for the first time. And so we have all been, this family of ours has been growing and expanding and changing for a decade now. Right? So some of you may have seen the first news that, buried in, some publisher's report that some woman named Deborah Harkness had sold a book called A Discovery of Witches. But that was the beginning of what brings us here, and that we have gone through this amazing growth spurt that has changed us, that has brought greater diversity, greater points of view. Some of you who joined me way back in 2011 may have had daughters who were too young to read the books. When I do events now, I see 19 and 20-year-olds. They would have been 10. They weren't reading A Discovery of Witches when it came out. So we've got this kind of, just like all families, right? We grow, we change, we add members, we sadly lose members. I never go on stage without thinking of one of the very earliest members of the All Souls discussion group, Pam Oldenburg. And I always think to myself, Pam would be here, You guys were looking at my shoes. My shoes came to me from Cecile and John D. Simone, whose daughter Katrina was at the Los Angeles, and who tragically died of cancer in her 20s. John and Cecile sent me these shoes. So Cecile, and I know you're watching, so I built my whole outfit around these shoes because These are my Katrina shoes, right? So I have a hashtag, Katrina Forever She'll Be. She was a fellow Mount Holyoke alum, and we have a song, we sing the last line is Mount Holyoke Forever She'll Be, and I just put her name in it. So these are my Katrina Forever She'll Be shoes. I lost my dad, Kat lost her dad, Jill lost her dad. So we've had a lot of losses, but we've also picked up all of these amazing people along the way. And that changes us. We've picked up all the cast. That changes us, right? And let me tell you, they feel like part of this family. We picked up Liam and Chris and Ellie, who do all the social media for A Discovery of Witches on social media. We picked up Bad Wolf. We've picked up 200 crew members, right? So our family just grows and grows and changes. And what's happened as a result of that is that, we have our occasional disagreements and fights, right? Just like all families do. We can have disagreements. Maybe there might be someone in the room, I don't think so, but there might be who thinks, no, that's not my Kit Marlowe. Or who thinks, actually, you made the wrong decision on the green blob that's CGI'd in. You should have run out of money in a different place. Or whatever it might, I don't care about Marcus. Give me more Diana, give me more this person, we're gonna have those disagreements, right? But our differences of opinion, our diversity, all of that only makes us stronger. I am so happy we are in Europe, that we have people who have come from 17 different countries to gather here, right? The message of the All Souls trilogy, it's not just a forbidden love story. The TV show is not just a vehicle for really good-looking, talented actors. There's a message, and that message is that it is our differences that will make us stronger. It is our differences that will ensure that we survive. Now, Jill, very wise woman, said to me yesterday, because I was kvetching about something, that where there's friction, there's growth. Right? That where there's friction, there's growth. We are stronger when we come into friction. So long as we remember we're still family. You can have all your feelings and the people you like and the things you hate and the fact that there needed to be a purple Afghan on the bed in the Bishop house, whatever there needed to be. We can all have those conversations as long as we never forget that we are all souls, that we are family. The cousin thing, I'm still kind of reeling for. I have to actually process that a bit more. And we have to remember what Philippe always said, which is, endings, beginnings, change. That's where we are as a family. Our family is going to get bigger over the next few years, right? We had an amazing first season of a television show. More people are finding the books. They're all going to have opinions. There's going to be some friction. Friction means growth. Friction means change. It's what we need to survive. So what I want to do for we've got about a lovely half an hour here, is now that we've had our aha moments and nobody's scared anymore to speak in front of a big group of people, I just want to open the floor up to you guys and let you guys ask me whatever you want. And if I can answer it, I will. There may be things I can't. But this is your time with me, so I just want to hand it over. So wave your hand. We've got 30 minutes and 2 microphones, and we're just going to go for it. So here's a hand right here.
Okay, so this is actually about season 2, which so my favorite scene in your entire trilogy is actually when Isabeau finds that note from Philippe. Whether I read it, whether I'm listening to it in my car, I'm a sobbing wreck by the end of it because it's such a powerful moment. Yeah. Any chance you know if that scene's going to be in this season?
This is a great question. I know it's in the scripts. I know it's in the shooting schedule, but that does not mean it will be in the show. Okay? So we shoot a lot more than actually gets in there. There's a lot more in the books than is ever in the scripts. Things change all the time. So the honest line is, until I actually see the final transmission version, which is usually a couple weeks before it goes on air, I don't actually have an answer for you. So I'm not even being evasive. I think all of the people involved in the project have felt the power of that moment and want to convey it. You know, the question is, can they? Will it work? What will it do? So fingers crossed. I know it's absolutely within everybody's intentions that such a thing would be included. So we'll just have to hope that all of the gods line up to actually get that in the final cut that goes, gets broadcasted.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Great question.
Me again.
You again. Hello, madam.
Okay, on social media, you posted a picture. You were traveling.
Yeah.
And you made a little comment that said, Gallo Glass was here.
Yeah.
Does that lead me to believe that we might be getting more Gallo Glass in a future book?
So for those of you who don't know, the way that I write now, because y'all are really eager to have another book, is that I write where I am actively writing and working with an editor on one book. I'm actually have the next book sort of in the batter's box, thinking through structure and issues. And then there's the one that's sort of, I guess for lack of a better word, in development. So right now, what happened was weird in that, and I always say that it's like a dachshund race because you line up all these projects and then they all go in different directions. And you think, no, you were the one I was following. Why are you going backwards? So the way that it is now was that I was working on a book called The Serpent's Mirror, which was about Matthew in the 16th century. The one that I was kind of playing around with structure was the book that's Times Convert. And then Gallo Glass was sort of in development. I hit a snag with Serpent's Mirror. I moved Times Convert into that slot. Now I'm writing Times Convert. I'm working out the problems with Serpent's Mirror. I'm traveling and doing research on the Gallo Glass book. And then Times Convert comes out. So logically, right, that means I should be working on Serpent's Mirror, except an entire other book in this series just was like, no, now is my moment. So now I'm working on that. And Serpent's Mirror is like, I've got 200 pages of draft of that I'm working, and still doing. So most recently over the winter, I was in Australia and New Zealand for the first time doing research for the Gallo Glass book. So so we just have to keep giving me lots and lots of vitamins and energy drinks. But that's sort of how it's going. So it's always sort of rolling along. But like so many of you said, you have to be ready for that moment when an entire new book comes along. You don't say, "No, I'm sorry. Go to the back of the bus. Go to the back of the bus. I don't want to talk to you right now. I have to talk to this person." So no. So the current work is kind of like just sort of taken shape. And no. I know. That was not a blame shame moment. It was just that kind of like, wow, okay. So like I had to change my what I used to do was like finish a book and go like, and then just kind of like, just let my brain relax for 6 months and then start up again. And I just don't do that anymore because I have a lot of stories I want to tell you, and you apparently have a lot of stories you want to hear, and you tell me what your part. So so good. Okay, where's the mic now? Thank you so much. Thanks.
Hi, Deb. So first, I had to ask. I know that you are living here now. Are you going back to teach at USC, or are you?
Yeah. I am back. I'm not teaching in the fall. My courses are all in the spring semester. I'll be teaching Tudor Stuart history and the introduction to historical methods and methodology, where I just tip an entire bunch of manuscripts out onto a desk and say to my students, "Okay, now what do we do?" And we play with manuscripts and figure out how to do that. So those are my 2 courses for the spring.
My second question, first I had to say hello and give you a hug from Reggie, but she says
Always
hello.
Reggie, hello.
She's watching. do we know when the next book possibly would be? Just
No,
because?
I mean, I'm hoping to be in a place where I can sort of tell you what it is, which would mean I'd have a full draft of it sometime in the autumn. But again, like we just, I'm kind of juggling two pretty big things right now with the TV show and the book. So I tend to write for the first 3 hours of the day, and then I go off on set, and sometimes I'm there quite until 5 a.m. So there's this kind of juggling act that goes on, and so I don't want to make any promises I can't keep. But I am very hopeful that I will have news about all of that in the autumn.
Hi. Going back to Gallaglass, I know we all have a burning question as who is and who we think we'd like,
Yeah.
but I'm going to ask, reading Gallaglass's story as it appears in the books, it comes over very much as an unrequited love he has with Diana Head's the anti-everything. So I see this big burly guy with muscles who's really having to play the anti card to keep it on the right level.
That's exactly why he calls her auntie all the time.
Yeah, so my burning question is Gallaglass going to find his true mate?
So here's what I have to say to you, is that, let's see, he met Diana in 1590. The question maybe you should be asking is not if, but when did he find his mate? No, but just that a lot of time has passed between 1590 and when we pick up with him in the Book of Life. And that a lot of things may have happened during that time. And a lot of you say, where did he go? Where did he go? Well, maybe he had a meeting he needed to take. So it just might be, it may not be that this is, so it's not even, again, their relationship is a very interesting one, because it's really not unrequited love, because Gallaglass just can't help himself. He's in love with Diana. He knows Diana is not in love with him, and he is a man of such honor. I mean, I think this is why Fernando in the Book of Life is so shocked at some of the things Gallaglass is doing. That because Gallaglass it's not that he's trying to break them up, but he's guilty of what we call sins of omission, right? And so, and that's where we know that it's been quite hard for him. But it's a very interesting take on that very familiar trope of, love triangle.
Is this because in English we only have one word for love, whereas in Greek there's a number like agape, philia, eros, and so it goes on, and it's very defined as in which type of love is being generated between the partners or the group in it. So is that kind of what's
we don't
explored?
all love is not romantic, passionate love, but it is no less serious and no less precious because of it. And and many of us may have been in a position of loving two people at the same time and not quite knowing what to do with that, and loving them in different ways, but in ways that made it quite difficult to be completely faithful to either one. Think about what that would do for a man like Gallaglass. So we have a lot to explore with him. So to be continued.
Hello. I just wanted to ask, is there anything in season 1 that you absolutely insisted had to go into the programme?
Oh, there were lots of things. Not all of them made it. No, I mean, I think for me, it wasn't a specific thing. It was that Diana had to be intelligent. She had to be possessed of a sharp intellect. That Matthew could not disintegrate into caricature. And so it was those sorts of things that are not, it wasn't like, you must have the yoga scene or I will have a nervous breakdown. It wasn't those sorts of moments. It was more the kind of like that spirit of the book. So look, it is not easy to take a 700-page book and translate it into 8 42-minute episodes of television. Things have to go. Things have to be compressed. Things have to be like Magimixed together and blended, you know, like soup. And sometimes you guys find that really jarring, but I promise you would find it way more jarring if in an effort to hit all of those event notes, Diana turned into a Barbie doll and Matthew turned into like some mustachio twirling, you know, looming guy. So, you know, we have to, again, this is where that growth thing happens, right? We've got a little friction. Instead of getting all upset, let's see it as a chance for growth and to think again, like critically. Like you saw those production team in the cast. There is nobody taking their job lightly, right? So they're like sitting there thinking, how is the best way to do this? It's not going to be the way it is in the book all the time. So for me, like I have to hold on to the characters because they're the through line. Who cares? You know, if like, oh, he wasn't at that bar, he was at forget about it. You know, what we want is at Marcus. And for anybody who was doubting whether Edward Blumell was Marcus Whitmore, I think it was proven, you know, what I saw on the audition reel, right? Hilarious. You know, that's why I was like on Speed Dial, it's him, it's him, it's him. Don't change his hair. You know, because it was so naughty what he did in his audition. And I was like, we must have him. So, where's the mic over here? Yes. Okay, great.
Hi. As a fellow historian, do you have? Because my mother wanted to ask me, because I do 17th century, and she asked me, do you see 17th century London in your head? And 17th century London you can actually see in reality in some parts of London because of the fire. Can you see Elizabethan London? Like, do you have an image of it? And how is it like to now see it come to life as somebody who's been working on it so long?
So I do have an image of it in my head. It's pieced together, and it may be wrong in places, but it's the best probably, you know, there's probably 5 of us in the world who have probably that kind of level of command of detail of Elizabethan London. I can tell cab drivers in London where to go based on knowing what the Elizabethan street layout was and having it hardwired in my head. And sometimes they have to say to me, ma'am, that street doesn't exist anymore. But still, like I can see it very vividly. I have now actually seen it, which I had to stop and sit down. That's what it was like to actually, I've been trying to imagine it since I was 18. Last week, I actually walked into it. And it's pretty spectacular. Yeah. James and his team have really done something historically important in what they've done, and I don't say that lightly. So where's the, thank you for waving.
Sort of tiny two-part. Favorite or most interesting filming location that you did get to film at, and then one that you really wish you could have filmed at, but then couldn't, maybe because of budget or just it didn't work out, or location? I mean, I know you didn't personally get to choose, but like, you were there.
Well, I still wish we could have actually filmed in the Bodleian, but it was completely impractical. And so weirdly, as a result, you know, I have to say that the Bodleian set and the Bishop House set were probably, it wasn't really a location so much. You know, so often the locations are like a bit of a car park or, you know, the underground corridor. We go on location. The beautiful things tend to be on set. Of course, it was really wonderfully fun to be in Oxford, not gonna lie. I never went with the crew and cast to Venice and Italy to film those scenes. If I had, maybe that would be it. But yeah, but it was actually really the stuff that James and his team made. Those are the places that I loved the most, so yeah. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
In the first series, we got to see a huge amount of detail that wasn't in the books, backstories, what was going on at the congregation, and it was lovely to have that detail.
Yeah.
I presume we're going to be treated to that in series 2. So is there any historical Tudor time detail that maybe wasn't in the books that you would like to see in season 2? So from your historical knowledge, is there anything you'd like to bring forward?
You know, I don't think so, because I can't think of anything. I think what will be just amazing is for, we were seeing what Diana was seeing and reporting on, sort of in a way. And of course, there was tons of other stuff happening in the background. So that I just imagine it's going to be a total gas to look at like Water Lane. Not because anything monumental happens, but because nothing monumental happens. It was just daily life, and they're going to be recreating that and all you're going to be seeing is like Diana and Matthew walking in the street, while in the background, and it's going to be all that gorgeous, rich detail that we saw. That again, the production team is so adept at bringing to life in this really powerful way. So I'm not trying to evade your answer. I just can't think of one off the top of my head.
Hello.
Okay, hi.
Hello, just a very quick question.
Sure.
Do you have your part in series 2 that you were hoping to have?
No, no one's talked to me about that. Now, I have to say that the last time I was on, I basically, I walked out of Cannes wearing a scarf that one of the Cannes attendees, Sharon, put over my neck. I walked off the plane into a car. They drove me to Oxford. I stepped out of the car. They said, "You're on." So, and so gosh only knows. I mean, one only hopes that if I stand next to the bag of bum rolls and look hopeful, they might do something, so.
Hello.
Where are you?
Here, right in the middle.
Wave, wave, wave to me. Okay.
Hello.
My gosh,
All
I'm
right.
sorry, the lights are hard to see past.
All right, as the writer and the producer and as somebody who is into their films and wanting to inspire into it, I'm curious about the second series in the Elizabethan era.
Yeah.
Are you going to be one of those people that are going to be wanting the accuracy to be like, this is going to happen? Or are you going to be more happy in the production team to be more following the Hollywood side of, this has happened in this film, so we can do this? Or are you going to be like, no, that didn't happen, this and this has happened?
Other films are not a reference point for our production.
Fair enough. Beautiful.
And for weird reasons. Normally, what absolutely makes me wiggy is the color palette. You aren't going to be seeing any, no. We're not going to see pastiche hairstyles from many decades. Hanging sleeves and wired ruffs do not belong in the same place at the same time. So now there are lots of things, and we discover them all the time. We're like, what did a carpenter wear to work in the 16th century? I don't have a photo record. I don't have an image. I don't have a description because nobody took time to describe a carpenter. So you're like, brown. And I mean, so there are also these places where like the best experts don't know because we don't have any records of that. So there are going to be places where we've had to creatively interpret, but I will tell you flat out, we are not using any other films for reference. And I'm not saying those people worked incredibly hard. They had a totally different brief, right? They were trying to make it look a certain way that they had in their mind. But the previous question, do you see Elizabethan London in your mind? Yes. And so, for good or bad, it needs to match that a little bit more than somebody saying, I want all of the Queen's women to have blisteringly white faces and hair that's 25 feet tall, and it's like, no, that's not. Pardon? Yeah. Yeah. So it's just a bit of, the research is just really crucial, and again, it's what makes it feel grounded and real, and not like a stylized take. We don't want. That's not our story. It can be other people's stories, but it's not our story to tell. So, hi.
Hi. I had a possibly silly question, but
no, I don't believe it.
From the time you chose like what you were going to study, did you imagine that you were going to get to this point, or had any idea that you were?
It's not a silly question.
Okay.
So I never wanted to be a creative writer. The example that I always give is that everybody else loved Jo and Little Women. I liked Amy. I wanted the travel and the nice clothes, absolutely. So for me, it really was a complete surprise. The last creative writing I'd ever done was in 10th grade. And I'd spent a lot of time, being very factual and grounded, like this next question. So it was a total and delightful surprise that, I could have either said, oh, that's silly, and not done it. And of course, me being me, I was like, okay, why not? Let's try. And so what I'm amazed at is that anybody wants to listen, that wants to be part of it, that you found the same pleasure in this world that I had in creating it. That's what is like, there's no way anybody could expect that or plan for that. And it's amazing. I think to myself, like, pinch me. I'm in Cardiff on, in August, talking to like all these people who like the same imaginary friends I do. Pretty great,
You said ask anything, so has Gallowgas been cast? I can't say it. And can you tell us who it is?
Gallowgas has not yet been cast.
Oh, well.
And when I say cast, what I mean by that is that no contractual agreement has been signed between the production company and any act. Because until that happens, he's not cast. Right? So I know for a lot of you, it's like, why don't we have news? We don't have news because until we have a piece of paper, then it's not news. All right. Can we get a microphone also down in here? Just because they've got, okay, perfect. And then if we could bring it down into this group, because this group has not seen the mic for a bit. Okay.
Hi. I wanted to start out by saying thank you so much for inspiring me. I was one of the people that was slightly too young to read the books when they first came out, and you inspired me to
And here you are.
Yeah. And thanks to you, I got reinterested in history and have gone on to study it and love it, and actually study it in America, and it's been the best choice I've ever made.
Oh, great.
So my question for you is, when you wrote the books, what was your hope for them?
Well, I hope that my mom would like them. And then after other people seemed to like them, my hope was that they would give intelligent adult readers something that was fun and escapist, that pulled at their heartstrings and made them laugh in kind of the same way that the Harry Potter books did for children, but which would be geared towards an adult. I mean, I know all of us I read Harry Potter too. I'm not saying that, but that at the same time, that some of the challenges in Harry Potter were, of course, timeless and ageless, but also, he was going through school, right? And I really wanted to do something that was looking at some of the problems of mature adulthood. How do we find our passion? How do we not just fall in love? How do we stay in love? How do we make a family? And how does that happen? And what are the kind of, the sacrifices and the benefits along the way? And I just really felt like, as an adult, we deserved that. We deserved books that had all the fun and the magic and the deliciousness, and also really got us thinking about the things that, again, are going to make us survive as a species. Thanks for the great question. That's wonderful.
Hi, Deborah. A question. If you could time walk, which historical character, be they actual or fictional, would you want to meet?
Elizabeth I, hands
Okay.
down. No
okay, well,
contest.
that's an easy one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have done ever since I was a small child.
Okay. Thank you.
Just because I don't believe that there's any way that what Elizabeth had can be captured on paper or in a portrait. What she had is what we would call like star power or celebrity or something, not sex appeal. I think her mom had that. I don't think Anne Boleyn had that. But it is absolutely clear that we're missing something about what made her great that cannot be captured in something that is still. You would need to see her in action to understand, and that's why I pick Elizabeth as the
Thank you.
You're welcome. What a great question. Okay, great. I think we've got time for maybe just one or two more questions. And again, I'm going to go like out there, out into the beyond afterwards, and see you guys. So if we don't get to your question, just flag me down there. But we've got time for like two more. So.
Hi, Deb. I'm Sally from Melbourne, Australia, although I'm a Brit.
Woohoo! You've come a long way.
Oh, I was visiting family and friends anyway. My question is, I've visited Warrnambool many times, and I wondered what made you choose that for
that Gallo Glass moment.
Yeah, when he was there. And did you go there when you were over at Christmas?
I was not able to get there because I was trying to see. I'm a little frightened of motorbikes, to be completely honest with you.
Okay, yes.
And so I was seeing Australia and New Zealand by ship.
Okay.
And so that made that a little tricky. Okay. But what I basically started doing was I started to research the best drives, legendary drives.
Yeah, and it really is. It's amazing.
And I found a whole bunch of them, and I kind of did the research on each one of them, and I just kept going back to Warrnambool. And the timing, I imagined him, and I know what his life trajectory is, and I could see where that could slot into it. Yeah, okay. And I just kept thinking, to go back to this gentleman's question about all the ways all the lengths to which, geographically and in all sorts of other ways, Gallo Glass had needed to go to keep himself from going bonkers. And that was just it. Okay. And again, I like to get them moving around the globe because we should all move around the globe more, right? We would have a lot less international hostility if we traveled more and met people from other places. Yeah. So I always love to kind of throw that in. One more. Oh, right behind you.
Hi, Deb.
Gail.
Thank you for your excellent advice to make sure you had Welsh cakes when you came to Cardiff.
Chocolate chip, ideally.
Yes, they're excellent. And the other thing you said in that live was that we should talk to the Welsh people, and you were absolutely correct. The musicality of the language, the kindness, has just been amazing.
Now,
so
when
thank
you think about Davy, you just think about him as one, as
Yeah. So quick question. Yeah. What I have noticed is seems to be a connection here I was not aware of. Right here at Cardiff Castle, I saw something about that connected to Mary Sidney, the Pembrokes, I believe. And then also at Caerphilly, the Gilbert de Clare. So I'm feeling like, was that part of your story potentially?
Well, I mean, no, not intentionally, but I mean, the family that Mary Sidney married into was a Welsh marcher family. I mean, her husband's position was to guard the Welsh marches, the border between England and Wales, in case the Welsh rose up in revolt. And so, that was just, it's a wonderful coincidence that we're here. But again, it just goes to show you, that the world, the politics of the world have shifted in all kinds of ways. And what we now think of as central was once peripheral. And a place like this was once at the very center of political concerns and political realities. And it's a great reminder when you go to a place like the castle of, well, why did they need this here? Well, because once upon a time, this was of major strategic importance, and it was the back door through which people feared that if Spain got to Ireland and the Irish got to Wales, that they could invade England through that position. So somebody like, the Earl of Pembroke becomes really crucial in that kind of political move of Elizabeth. So it's just a great reminder that, history happens everywhere. It doesn't happen in just like Washington, D.C. or London. And that when we get out, we see the world, our whole perspective on everything changes. And again, from me, what my perspective is of all of this wonderful weekend is just I am getting such a kick out of seeing you all offer each other places to sleep, fold solo travelers into your dining plans, step aside so somebody can have a turn with me because you've already got your picture or whatever. And this is how we're going to make it, guys. So thank you for restoring my faith in the human race and in the planet, because I just feel like if we can do this here, you know, and we take it with us, we will all be, you know, making that All Souls family just grow and grow and grow. So with that, I'm going to thank you. I will be outside. Thank you again. Do you want me to stay up here? Oh.
So much. Do you want to stay and see the cosplay?
Yes.
All right, guys.